Hello, 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 love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
I only drink with my best.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week?
Some
The
people
Rats
say we
lost!
But every night I make a new best friend, and the only problem is we like having a good time. Forget yourself, pal.
If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Watch and listen between two beers.
Getting down.
Hello, 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 love wrestling. It's the Between Two Beards guys. We are here. It's not Thursday night.
No, it's not.
8 p.m. But we are here for a very special occasion. We are here for an official AEW Dynasty preview and picks show. And as you can see, we have a very special guest with us. We have Tanner Lee from the Kicking Out podcast joining Pluggo and I today. So first and foremost, before I ask Pluggo how he's doing, let's ask the guest how he's doing. Tanner, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me back again, guys. Can't wait to chop it up, talk some more AEW. What a way to start my morning. Can't think of a better way to start my morning than talking some pro wrestling with you guys. Doing great. Was able to go to Dynamite last night in Indianapolis. Hot go-home show. Go-home Dynamite show, I should say, for Dynasty. And we're going to get a hell of a card this Sunday.
Yeah, it's looking like it is shaping up to be, AEW usually hits more times than they don't with their pay-per-views here, but this one is actually like, I'm excited to talk about this morning with you two, because this one is shaping up that it could be like an all-timer for them. Like I think that's the point. I think they really know they need to hit it out of the park, but it is shaping up to be one of the best they've ever put on. But before we dive in here, Pluggo, you were also at Dynamite.
I sure was. I was with Tanner. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
This is going to be a loaded debut pay-per-view, by the way. This is the first Dynasty of all time. So they're coming out the gate swinging.
It is. And it is. Like I said, we right now, as of this moment, we are recording on Thursday morning. You'll probably be seeing this after that. If you are watching this, which we hope you are. Right now, as of this moment, there are 10 matches announced. So those are the 10 matches we're going to go by. I would not be shocked if another one or two are booked this Saturday night with the Collision Rampage block they have. But right now we got 10 matches, and that's where we're going to dive in. Just general, I know we just kind of talked about how we're excited for the show on Sunday, but general vibes heading into Dynasty. Obviously, there's been some discourse, some stuff. AEW, I feel like for the last 6 months to a year has been in a damned if you do, damned if you don't to the fans and the IWC and all stuff like that. If they do something, people critique it. If they don't do something, people critique it. Obviously, we're going to talk about a couple things that happened because it worked into a couple matches here, but just the general vibes of how you're feeling about AEW and like heading into this big time pay-per-view. I do think this pay-per-view will revitalize the good stuff, and then they hopefully will carry it on. But like, where you at, Tanner, with how you're feeling about AEW as a whole?
I'm feeling pretty good. I know they've had a few bumps in the road so far in 2024, a few decisions, and maybe we'll hit on it that were questionable looking back on it. Should they have done this? Should they have done that? But overall, I think they're in a pretty good position, especially considering how many of their top talent are on the shelf right now with injuries. I mean, on the men's side alone, you got MJF, you got Adam Cole, you got Kenny Omega, you got Hangman gone for personal reasons. Miro, even though I know even when he's healthy, they don't use him as they should. But that's a story for another day. And then on the women's side, you got Jamie Hayter, you got Britt Baker. I'm sure there's others I'm missing off the top of my head. But But they also signed Mercedes, Okada, Osprey in the meantime, since a lot of those talents have been out. But I feel
But
like
that's
the
just
card,
because they don't like to grind, Tanner.
yeah, I know it. They don't like that grind,
They want
even
that
though
easy schedule. Why
Yeah,
would they want to
jeez.
make?
How
Why
dare
would they
they?
want to make adequate money for less stress?
Jeez,
Oh,
Tanner, way to bury
why
the lead.
why wouldn't Will want to be able to go home and see his
Yeah,
wife?
yeah,
and kid?
literally, like travel home every week.
How
See his-
dare
yeah,
he?
You know,
I
God
knew
forbid.
better. But I'm
No.
feeling good about it. I think a lot of talent heavy company. Card's looking good, Sunny. What I love about the card is aside from the TNT Championship, every other title's getting defended. I
Yeah.
like that.
They're all, they're all, or I think all of them. Yeah, every single
Yep.
title besides, like you said, the TNT, because it's in a 6-man, is up for grabs, and that's good because you
Mhm.
pay-per-views. I'm not saying every title needs to be up for grabs at every pay-per-view, especially now if you're going to be doing monthly pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I think that is different when you're doing every 4 months. Yeah, every title should be on the line, but I do like every match. Every match should matter, and
But I think you hit it on the top. I think you hit it on the top. It's kind of a perfect storm given the discourse with the IWC debut pay-per-view. Tony's like, let's just empty the clip, so to speak, with the titles, put a lot of stakes into a lot of these matches because high stakes usually means more compelling matches. Like the TNT title being in that thrown together kind of three-person trios matches. But the rest of it's awesome. But here, we were there last night. There wasn't any shots at the Fed. It was very. I think you're gonna see less. You'll probably still see some. I would imagine you'll still see some. But I think maybe it was like because we were talking before, like early in the year. Like this is all right. They're getting reset. They're going to start focusing in on what they need to do. I'm not saying don't take shots at the other company, but I'm saying like just focus in on what you're trying to do. If the shot makes sense, take the shot. But just the shots they took with the Punk stuff and the Triple H stuff. Not that I had a problem with it. It just doesn't get you guys over in the sense that you can't pay that stuff off. Like we're not going to get Will Ospreay versus Triple H, or we're not going to get CM Punk and Jack Perry anytime soon. So were the shots cool? Sure, if that's what you think, but were they needed? No, because it doesn't do anything. So I think here's an opportunity. Dynasty, let's go big. Let's have a killer pay-per-view. And let's just start focusing on ourselves. Have some fun with it. It's wrestling. Take shots. I don't care, but really hone in on what you're doing because like the shows are good. I mean, the shows are fine. They're not bad shows. I just don't know how you get more people to watch.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
the key. But
it's something they need to figure out. I agree. I do think the shows the shows they've been doing, the weekly television we've seen, especially over the last couple months, it's been very good. It's been really, really good. You guys got a good show last night. That was a hot, good show. The crowd was feeling it. You could hear it. Even though you could tell it was in a smaller arena, like the crowd was loud. It was, that part of the AEW experience. And I know Pluggo, it was your first time going to AEW. That part of the experience has always been there. And it just feels like for some reason they've hit when it comes to like, and again, we're not ratings people. I don't, at the end of the day, like I watch stuff because I like watching it, right? Like I want them to get good ratings because I want them to succeed because I want to continue to be able to watch stuff. But it is clearly, attendance issue, like that type of stuff is they really, and hopefully, what the event we're going to be talking about here, it knocks it out of the park. And maybe that's for the summer. Cause then they got, you got your big pay-per-view Double or Nothing the next month. Then you got Forbidden Door in New York City. And then you got all this momentum. It's really like, I always feel like not always, but I feel like with AEW, they get momentum and then something happens that immediately stops the momentum. And whether it was the CM Punk stuff, the couple times he acted up, or whether it was, other things, I do feel like whenever everyone is really, really high on AEW, something happens or there's some sort of thing. And then everyone's like, oh, there's AEW again. And it's like, okay, let's hit it out of the park on Sunday and let's just go, man. Because we know they have, you look at this card and it's hard to argue that this is going to be one of the best shows of the year in all of wrestling. So But there were a couple matches they did make last night when you gentlemen were at AEW Dynamite. One of them is a trios match, and it will be a winner take all trios match with the Bullet Club Gold, the Guns, and Jay White putting their Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles on the line against the Acclaimed and daddy ass Billy Gunn putting their AEW trios titles on the line. Thank God. Hopefully this just makes one set of titles, have them float between the two companies, make it easier for everybody. I'm glad they're doing this. Tanner, I'm going to send it over to you first, but to me, this is a no-brainer. Give it all to Bullet Club Gold and let them run. And that's what I think they should do. The Acclaim have fizzled out. I actually think a breakup should happen here. Max Caster maybe, or something. I just think the Acclaim's time of where they were has passed. I think they have moved down. They're not the biggest pop in the night when they show up anymore. They're used less frequently on television, even being the trios champions. But I'm glad that AEW is at least it looks like they're making the decision to kind of unify these belts and have one set of 6-man trios, whatever you're going to call it. And that makes me feel good. And again, this match should be pretty entertaining and good.
Yeah, I agree pretty much with everything you said, JPJ. It's time to unify the titles. It's been time for months. Neither set gets defended very often at all. I think I read somewhere that claims defend it once or twice since All In back in late August, which is inexcusable in my opinion. But you're right. You hit the nail on the head with the Acclaim. They're still popular, but they maybe don't have the popularity they once had. I know last night, whenever I go to a wrestling show, I like to see whose merch is being worn by a ton of people out in the crowd. And the last few years has been Acclaimed all over the place. Didn't see much of that last night. A few shirts, but not near as much as the last 2 years when I attended Dynamite in Indianapolis. Jay White's a special talent. It's a time to put him in a good spot in AEW. I think this is Bullet Club Gold, guns up all day for this one.
Pluggo.
Yeah, what you guys said there. I'm kind of over this whole Bullet Club Gold Acclaim thing. I want it to be done. So I'm losing interest as it goes. Like when they came on the screen last night, the pop wasn't huge like it used to be. It's just and it's like I watched Jay White, and don't get me wrong, I think the Guns are much more improved than I think people give them credit for, and I think they're better characters than we're giving them credit for. But I want to see them be doing some more stuff. I want to see them why are we having the ROH 6-man the trios titles and the AEW trios titles? Why is that the fight? Why aren't we building up some more trios in ROH? So I want to see the Guns and Jay White just take it. Let's go do some stuff with it. Or hell, the Acclaim. I don't care at this point. I hate to sound negative, but I just want them to do something different. They've been together in this kind of entanglement. It's been a while. Yeah, it's one of the longer storylines that I can remember. But it's going to be a good match. All the components are great. I'm just like I said. I think Jay White is special, and I think he needs to be doing some bigger stuff. So, if you want to put all that gold on him and let them do their thing,
I think if you also if this just becomes one set, even if you're going to call them the AEW trios championships, right? And the Ring of Honor 6-mans go away, but they're defended on both companies. It just opens it up for so many other things. There's so many groups, there's so many trios you can put together where those belts will actually matter. And I know there's a lot of belts on AEW with the Ring of Honor stuff. It's a lot of I get it. And I have those complaints too sometimes where I'm like, what belt are we fighting for now in this match? But also it's one of those things where you just said that the trios, the AEW, their own trios titles that they created for, and I get it, some shit went down, but they created for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, or who they created those belts for. They have not been defended since November.
Yeah,
that's over 6 months. That is embarrassing. That is not good. Why would you that is not good. You just have those for their props at this point.
Yeah.
And
no excuse for it.
There isn't. And hopefully making one set of titles and allowing them to work both rosters or whatever, or AEW is very loose about them using other rosters outside of that bubble too, whatever, right? They're doing Forbidden Door. Bring a trios over here to fight these guys.
Yeah.
Jay White's very familiar with all that. You know what I mean? Like it just, to me, it opens it up to, okay, can we actually, like, now there's one set, we know who the champions are, let them have all these fights, because there's a lot of trios and a lot of factions and a lot of groups that can just easily, Shane Taylor Promotions, after you guys saw last night, let's go, dude. Like, I'm all like, let's make stuff like that happen. So
absolutely.
All right, cool. The other match that was announced last night went in with the segment that you guys saw. So they officially announced that Hook will be defending the FTW championship at Dynasty against Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho is trying to get Hook to go under the learning tree of Jericho, and he had Taz foster a meeting between the two, and you guys were in attendance, but as I was watching on television, I was like, I think Jericho's going to beat up Taz. He didn't end up beating him up, but in my brain, I was like, Taz is going to annoy Jericho, and Jericho is going to beat him up, or he's going to. This is how this is going to go. Jericho, in my opinion, Jericho needs to learn the definition of the word no. But anyway, that is just. That's
I tried to start a no means no chant last night.
What the hell, man? What the hell, bro? Come on.
If you listen closely,
come on, bro. Jesus
I try to go on tour chant. I tried many things.
And the guy can just not hear. Taz is trying his best to be like, hey, come on. No, it's like Jericho, man. Jesus Christ. But anyway, this match scares me a little bit.
Because of the Jericho.
Because I think Jericho's going to win. And I don't want Jericho to win. And again, like, I understand why people hate Chris Jericho. I am not on the full hate Chris Jericho train. Like, I don't need to see him every week in 2024 with their roster. I just don't. Don't. It's not, I know there's other things and, things outside of the wrestling sphere that are very warranted why people do not care or do not like Chris Jericho. I'm just looking at it strictly as me watching AEW, and I just feel like he is at a point in his career where he's done what he needed to do for AEW. He's a big name. I have no problem with him coming back to do big programs and big matches at big pay-per-views, but I do not need to see him every single week on my television screen.
It's not even that. It's the fact that he goes around and he does it and he openly admits it. Like the vortex of, like, he finds, like, the hot, cool young star or whatever, and he, like, attaches. He's like that little fish on the shark. It's like, dude. Yeah.
It's like
and this time, in my opinion, he's gone too far, because you know how I feel about Hook.
Yeah, Hook's your boy.
And even if I was being objective and just looking at it from I'm a Hook stan, Hook, it has a very, very cool presentation. He's very, very like, kids get it. Teenage kids get it. They're like, this guy, look at him. He's got a look. He's got a vibe. And then you throw, like, Grandpa Jericho at it. And I'm not trying to disrespect him, but, like, he's just, if you look at it from that, he's been in the business for 40 years now. Like, the dude's, and it's very get off my lawn, Chris Jericho at this point. You got to learn from me, kid. And, like, just leave Hook alone, man. I don't understand it. And like you said, I don't think I need to see him every single week. The Lionheart thing doesn't hit for me because that wasn't my era anyway. But I mean, whatever.
Strictly did that because they had to get away from June.
No, I know.
They weren't getting the reactions for that they were.
No, I know. But But again, it's just you have this. This time around, you have this really unique, very well presented Hook that is just, like, over with the crowd. He's over with the young fans, and then you just
do we think that Hook just beats him though? Maybe
I would hope.
Like I said, I'm skeptical, big time. But, like, do we think that? I'll hand it off to you, Tanner. Do we think that Hook maybe just beats Jericho, and maybe Jericho does? I mean, he just filed all these trademarks, and you guys heard him. We heard him for the first time. The learning tree of Jericho, the Jericho vortex. The rarefied air of Jericho. You better change that one. That's Richard Holiday. But you know what I mean? Like, but, like, he's got the new look. Once he started growing out the goatee, it was like he's gonna turn heel. Jericho's always been the loudest one of like, if I change a character, I change a part of my physical look. Well, now you got a goatee and you're looking a little wearing black and shit. Like, I know what you're doing. I've been watching this for a long time. Do we think Hook could just beat him? Or
I think he could, but I'm not optimistic. I'm like you. This match scares me. Maybe if this was the first time they were facing and Hook hadn't already gone over him, I'd feel better about it from Hook's point of view. But yeah,
if you're Chris Jericho and you allow him to lose, and you allow yourself to go over here,
he took the ROH title, ran with it for a little bit with the Ocho run, which is what it was looking back on.
I guess my thing is like, I like I said at the beginning, I do like if I had to pick in this moment, which I'm going to, I think I'm going to pick Jericho.
I think I am too.
I'm taking Hook.
That's fine. Right. I mean, Hook. Look, I will be rooting for Hook.
Yes,
but I don't know. This is their second match. I could easily see them continuing this with Hook trying to get back especially if Taz gets involved again and it becomes maybe a more physical thing, because you can't have that blow off, man. It's not like Taz can come out of you're not the blow off.
He couldn't even really take a bump. That was
he could barely do that. Yeah, that like
shove.
Exactly. So it's not like you can get that payoff ever. You know what I mean? So
I've never been a big fan of the FTW title since they've introduced it.
And it's still not even a recognized one.
Exactly.
AEW,
I understand the lineage, the history behind it, why it was created when Taz created ECW. I'm all for that, but just never been a big fan of it in AEW and how they use it. I don't think they've used their feuds very well with it. So it would be weird to see Jericho win this title, because then what's he got to do? Is he got to tap into a old ECW character of some sort? And I don't know.
Yeah,
he's so stale. He's so stale for me. Just go away for a little bit.
But we could probably cap it here. I think that it would be a good idea just for him to go away, just because he is getting stale and what used to work for him is not working right now. So maybe it would be I don't think they're going to, because if he's going to do this learning tree thing, but just not with Hook.
He
can't get over it.
He does a good job of reinventing himself. Don't get me wrong. I can't deny that. But he's turning into AEW's version of the Big Show from WWE as far as face and heel turn about 30 times. And I think Jericho's too damn stubborn. He knows everybody's tired of him. He's going to lean into it more and show up more often just because he's too damn stubborn.
And I think that's what it's been. It's not hey, let's read the room and maybe pull back a little bit. Jericho is, at least from, again, I don't know the guy personally, and none of us do, but like from what we know of Chris Jericho for watching him for 25, 30 years, that is what it is. He's going to be like, oh, they're booing me? Okay, well, here we go. I'm going to lean into this, and I'm going to make them boo me more.
Yep.
Because that's the type of person he is, And again, it annoys people, which works.
I guess he is doing his job.
Guess how you do. Yes, exactly. He's been on the top of the business for a long time because he's a smart individual.
You're right.
He's good at what he does.
You're right.
All right. Whether you like him or you hate him, like the dude, he said it in the promo last night. A lot of people consider me to be one of, if not the best ever. That is a true statement. So it is,
He gets a reaction
every time.
I mean,
every time.
So,
all right. We have a 6-man, the only title not on the line under the AEW umbrella is the TNT title, and that is because its champion, Adam Copeland, is in a trios match. He will be teaming up with Eddie Kingston and Mark Briscoe. What a crew that is. What a crew.
Rated R Chicken Hawks.
Yes, I love it.
I just came up with that.
To take on the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. This match should be insane. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be chaotic. You know what it is. You see how the House of Black 6-mans work. They just chaos everywhere. I have really been enjoying Adam Copeland lately in AEW. When he first got there, I was like, this is cool. But then it was kind of But the last little bit here, I am very, very much enjoying what he's doing. You guys saw him. It was supposed to be a mixed tag. It ended up being a handicap match for the most of it on Dynamite. But Pluggo, I'll let you lead this time, big guy. How you feeling about this 6-man? Do you think the House of Black win, or do you think Copeland, the kind of star trio of Copeland, Kingston, and Briscoe, get their revenge, because House of Black has been going after all three of them for the last little bit here.
If this is the end game to get us to Malachi Black versus Adam Copeland, you got to go House of Black. Because that's what everybody wants. That's what we all wanted when they put this together. I think they put this together as a way to get the House of Black over without it being like, you know what I mean? Like, it's Copeland, Malachi Black 1-1, and the Copeland has to take a loss right away. I think you can get them over one more time, and then maybe double or nothing. We get Malachi, Copeland, 1-on-1. Hell, I'd want to see Brody King versus Adam Copeland. The way they've been booking it.
That was fun last night.
Yeah, the way they've been booking it, it's been Brody doing all the heavy lifting. But I think that's where you go here. I still like. I'm also like kind of like I got the thought of what Eddie said at the last week when he was like, I'm confused. I'm not sure why I'm here, because they had Briscoe and him just had that war for the ROH title. So he's still like, maybe there's a mishap there between the two of them. And that's the way you get House of Black over for me. That's what I want to see. House of Black gets over. Malachi says, okay, now it's my turn. I want the spot. And then we get Copeland, Malachi, double or nothing. That would be dope.
Tanner, what are you thinking?
Man, Malachi and Copeland's like one of my dream matches in AEW.
Yeah.
I would love that. I've been on the let's get Malachi in some singles action train for a long time. I feel like the House of Black booking's always kind of confusing to me and how they use them. I'm a big fan of all three guys, but I just think their feuds are always how they either let them play on too long or they're just not a lot of story to them. I do like that this one they've told some good stories last few weeks. I actually think the baby faces go over, but I still think we get that match at Double or Nothing. Pluggo, I still think we do, but I think the baby faces go over because I don't know how it would look if two of your champions take an L. Actually, well, I know they're not part of New Japan Strong, but technically three guys that hold gold. I just don't know how that would look, but I kind of like the wrinkle you put there in my mind, Pluggo, of Kingston and Briscoe coming off their feud at Supercard. Maybe the mishap happens and they can continue that rivalry a little bit. But I'm going to go with the babyface team here.
Yeah, I'm leaning babyface team here as well.
You guys are picking against me the first two.
Hey, look at that. I agree with what Tanner said, and I just think Mark Briscoe just became the Ring of Honor champion. I understand it's a trios match and he doesn't have to like lose to lose, but I do feel like if the end game is to get to a one-on-one match, whether it is Malachi or Brody or whatever it's going to be, like I do feel like you can get there either way. You can get there either way, and I just feel like Edge, Briscoe, and Eddie Kingston for kind of like the crowd aspect of it and like giving them a big-time victory is probably where they'll go. I don't know. I just feel like Adam Copeland isn't going to lose right now. That's how I feel. So,
who would eat the pin there, Pluggo, if House of Black was over? Who eats the pin?
Eddie
probably would be the one.
Okay.
But, yeah. Well, you never know.
You can't always. The good guys can't always win.
I agree. But the good guys, I don't think are always going to win on this show. So I think this show is going to have a lot of not good guys winning. So that's why that's part of my pick here is because I do feel like heels are winning the majority of the night. I do feel like this is going to be a heel.
I think at the
end of the night when we get there, we might not see a heel win. But I think throughout the card, I think a lot of heels are winning. I think.
Okay, interesting. Well, when I go perfect on my picks,
listen, more power to you, brother.
Sweep City.
Yep,
that's right.
We have a match that was added late last week. Is for the AEW International Championship. This was added on Battle of the Belts last week. Roderick Strong will be defending against Kyle O'Reilly. So we saw Roderick have an eliminator match last week. Oh my God, who was it against? I forget. Who was it against?
Rocky Romero.
That's right. And he handled him, and Kyle O'Reilly got in the ring. He kind of like congratulated Roderick, and he was checking on Rocky. And then the Kingdom started beating down on Rocky. Kyle did not like that. He stopped them, and Roderick Strong kneed that boy right in the damn face, and that's what he did. And He said, you should have listened to me. I got no problem with you doing this on your own, but you're not coming for me. You're not coming for my title. You should have listened to me, blah, blah, blah. And now we have a match.
And now he's coming for his title.
And now he's coming for him. How are we feeling about this? Roderick Strong just won that title. He just won that title at the last pay-per-view. But I feel like giving it to Kyle is the decision here. I don't know, though. I'm kind of up in the air because Roderick, but we just got the report yesterday that Adam Cole is like not close to returning. He's had to even like cut back on the amount of travel they've wanted him to do and stuff because he's not. So that tells me that maybe he's not coming back as soon as maybe they thought. So do they have time to kind of do, you know what I mean? Because everybody in my brain, I've just been like, all right, well, everybody, they need to have the belts because when Adam Cole comes back, he's eventually going to get the world title. And then that's how this was all supposed to go before the injury and stuff like that. Now you hear he's going to be out. It's not looking good for like a comeback anytime soon. Do you think, Tanner, that they pull the trigger this quickly and they take it off Roddy and they give it a Kyle?
Yeah, this is maybe the toughest one for me to predict because normally I would say no. They usually don't do short title reigns like that. Roddy just won it from Orange at Revolution. But they've been presenting Kyle pretty strong. Kyle's got a great comeback story. Everybody's liking this babyface version of Kyle O'Reilly. In the Kingdom, like you said, JPJ, like it's been stale for a lot of people, but unfortunately it's just because of the injuries that have been, even Wardlow got banged up and now they just decide for whatever reason not to use him when he's healthy. But that's a rabbit hole I could go down many times over for another day. But, I'm going to say they pull the trigger and go with Kyle O'Reilly. My gut's telling me so, but neither result would shock me here. I think it's gonna be a really fun match. Love the backstory to it, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the quick title reign for Roderick, and it ends, and Kyle gets it.
Wow. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I wouldn't mind if these two hot potatoed it a little bit, like had a couple feud, like maybe Kyle got one over on him at Dynasty and gets the belt, and then Roddy's like, no, you caught me slipping. Give me one more. Kyle gets a real short reign. Roddy gets it back. Like I don't mind that in certain cases because I think these matches are going to be bangers, right? And I don't think it's a one-off. But I also miss Kyle and Roddy together.
Yeah,
I miss it. But oh man, that's tough. That's tough. If my gut says Roddy retains just because Kyle's back so soon and there's strength in numbers, but God, that'd be fun to see Kyle O'Reilly win that damn thing.
I think we might see it. I think I'm leaning. I agree with Tanner, though. I think if we were doing the confidence picks where you had to put the number, this would be my one. I think this would be
pretty low.
I am not confident about anything that can happen here. Either scenario would make a whole lot of sense to me.
Well, I guess it all depends too for what they want to do with the Undisputed Kingdom thing. Do they want to kind of disband it if Cole's going to be out for more of an extended period of time, and then Wardlow's banged up, and it's like I was just thinking yesterday. I was like, I don't really see the Undisputed Kingdom as much featured as we did before. So maybe they disband it a little bit or go do their own things for a while, and maybe Roddy gets caught slipping because who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to make a pick, but if I'm making a pick, I guess I'm going to go Roddy. You guys are going to go Kyle. We're just
right in a row. We're just going against you, Pluggo, because I think I'm leaning Kyle here. I think
that's a tough one.
You guys planned this, didn't you?
Oh no, we didn't. Do I think Roddy will get it back? Yeah, but I think. Yeah, I think I'm going Kyle. I think you can prolong the story that way. It kind of, then Roddy's trying to not only get his belt back, but he's trying to get his friend back. And he's just like, hey man, like what the hell? You should be with us anyway, kind of thing. And like stuff like that. I think there's a thing you can lean into there. All right. I should have done this after we talked about the trio smash with House of Black, but the other tie into that is we have ourselves a TBS championship match. Willow Nightingale, who was attacked, which I want to get into that. But so there was supposed to be a mixed tag match at the Dynamite you guys went to last night. And as Willow was supposed to be entering, we find that she got attacked backstage, which the week prior, Mercedes Moné got herself attacked backstage. This all kind of ties in together to the TBS championship and everything that's going on. So Edge fought alone for the most of it. Willow came out and helped at the end and things like that. But it's going to be Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart for the TBS championship. I really don't know. Like, do we talk about the match first and then what we think is happening otherwise, or do we dive in? Because it all ties in. The winner of this match at Double or Nothing will be facing Mercedes Moné. So that's what we know. Mercedes and Willow clearly have a past, a story. Mercedes got injured in that New Japan Strong Championship match. They couldn't have a real finish. Obviously, Willow ended up winning that belt. And Mercedes has been kind of given Willow some attitude since she's shown up. Been friendly to Statlander, been friendly to Stokely and everyone else. But every time she sees Willow, she's like, "Get the hell away from me." That type of attitude. But last week, Mercedes cutting a promo and back. The lights go out, which is a signal of House of Black, a signal of Julia Hart. I think it was done on purpose. I don't think it was. We can talk about differently, but it makes you think, oh, well, that's Julia Hart attacking Mercedes. So if Julia wins, that's that, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But now we see Willow get hurt, and it's along the same lines. Oh, Julia Hart is in this mixed tag with her tonight. Oh, they're fighting on Sunday. Of course, Julia Hart would want to attack Willow and make her hurt so she's less 100% for her title. I guess we could start with, like, how do we see this match going? Actually, no, that's a lie. Tanner, who do you think has been attacked? No, that's a lie.
He swerved. Swerved us.
Changing course. Because I do feel like
he's fired up.
Attacking people is going to play into how this whole thing works out.
Sure.
I know who I think it is. I don't think it's Julia.
Nope.
I don't know if any of you guys are going to agree with me. I am of the portion that I think. No, Tanner, I'm going to have you answer first. Who do you think is the attacker?
I think it's Chris Statlander.
Yes, I agree.
I think it's Stokely.
I think Stokely's going to be behind it. I think Statlander turns heel, and her and Stokely go over here and do their own thing, and then Willow is kind of back on this. Hey, you're
Willow's been talking back to Big Stoke, so I think it's a big plot. I think it's a thing. Statlander's been going with the grain with Stoke.
Statlander's been losing all these matches because she's not listening to Stokely, not trying to cheat. Stokely tries to give her the weapons. Stat's like, no, I'm good. She's been losing everything. Willow's been winning everything.
Maybe it was Edge. I'm just kidding.
It just makes sense to me. And like Statlander and Mercedes have had a couple things out back where they've been friendly to each other, but there's been stare downs and things like that. It just makes sense. And Statlander and Mercedes is a match that I think all of us would very much love to see. Mm-hmm. And so if you're going the route where Willow wins on Sunday, because I think Julia Hart does have a banged up shoulder.
Yeah, they used her pretty smart last night. They were very calculated with their ring time last night. So.
That was a good angle to have Willow get hurt, and then Brody did most of the heavy lifting there. Mm-hmm. Julia's been great. I think she's been a surprise to a lot of us because she was super green. She gets the TBS championship. She's in this new role with the House of Black. I think she's done a great job of the TBS championship, but we all know it's coming. Willow, Mercedes, part 2.
Double or nothing, man.
Double or nothing. You got to do it. So Willow's got to get it done here because Julia Hart and Mercedes would be cool. But you haven't been telling that story the way you've been telling the Willow Mercedes story.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a secondary. They kind of put those things in there just to give you some doubt, but it still they haven't hit it over the head as much as they've been hitting the Willow stuff. So give me Willow Nightingale.
Yeah. Normally looking ahead to Double or Nothing Mercedes in-ring debut because we finally got some clarity on that last
night.
She finally admitted she was.
We both looked at each other and was like, yep. She said
it
the thing. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Because, we've seen her get physical, but not have a match in there. Like, why the hell would they bring her in back at Boston 2 months ago and then not have her wrestle in the ring for 2 months? But that's why. So I would normally say, well, Mercedes is not going to lose a Double or Nothing. I mean, let's be honest. So normally I would say, they're not going to have Willow go over because that's going to be a short title run. But with Julia's real injury, I think you pull the trigger, have Willow win, and then you can have Statlander maybe get involved at Double or Nothing or some wrinkles there. And that's how you can get it off without her making her title reign look weak. So going Willow.
Yeah, I'm leaning Willow too. Like you both said, the story they've been telling is the problems with Mercedes and Willow.
Mm.
You know, that's been a secondary story here. Yes, you can play up the attack with Julia Hart, and Julia Hart's also like, you know, Mercedes' first night, Mercedes came out to help fend off Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Like, I get it. Like, they've been teasing both ways, but the juicier story is the history with Willow and Mercedes. And I think, you know, you do this on Sunday, you got 4 or 5 weeks till Double or Nothing. You can really lean into that and make it work. And then is Stokely your real pick, Pluggo, for the person attacking, or do you think it is like?
Obviously, I don't think he's the one that actually
you think it's
did it,
Statlander,
but I think he's the one that is masterminding this thing. Like, I think he's putting it into Stat's ear. Like, here's what we should do. Like, I think it's easy to say it's Statlander, but I think he's pulling the strings. I think he's manipulated Statlander to the point where she's listening to him because it's working. So she's probably thinking, yeah, all right, you're right. Let's go. I think Stokely's like when he came, I was like, yeah, the Willow will fight you for the TNT championship. Like, I know he's funny and he's doing it in jest, right? But I also know that there's another layer to Stokely where it's like he's speaking on behalf of these two women, and I think he's got Statlander in his. I think he's pulling all the strings. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if he was like, I'm going to go with Mercedes when she wins that belt. You know what I mean?
He was trying to suck up
Stokes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's Stokely ultimately having Statlander do his dirty work. That's what I think.
It'd be a perfect time to pull the trigger with kind of a character change like that for her too, with what's going on with Trent Beretta and Orange and Chuck Taylor too, and get her more distance away from that. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's continue to move on here. We have ourselves an AEW Continental Championship match. This is one of my God, man. My God, this match is bro. First they did we're gonna talk about they did Danielson and Ospreay, and you're like, oh damn, all right, that's gonna be one of the best matches they can do. And then they throw Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, and you're like, oh damn.
This is a wrestling.
And then they're like Okada and Pac, and you're like, what is this? Huh? These three? Well, anyway, but it is Kazuchika Okada defending again, another person who just won this belt, defending his AEW Continental Championship against Pac, who returned, the bastard Pac, who returned a few weeks ago. Good to see Pac back. That dude rules. I'm glad he's back. Hopefully he can stay around for a longer period of time. I feel like he comes back and then he leaves he's not around for a while. It's like, no, please stay. And what a match, what a big first time pay-per-view match to come back. He's going right for Okada. This match should be insane with these two. I mean, you could say it 3 or 4 times, but match of the night with these two, ideally. In this card has Ospreay and Danielson, which we're going to talk about later. But like, what the hell, man? There's like, this match should be, I can't even imagine how good this match can be. Like, honestly, me personally, I think Pac doesn't have a chance to win this title. I think Okada retains, but I think the journey of getting there is going to be wonderful. In this match. Tanner, you shook your head. Yeah, I assume. Are we all in agreement that we think Okada's retaining here? Yeah. All right. So Tanner, like, man, this is a match.
The more we talk through this card, and Pluggo and I were kind of talking about this last night, the in-ring talent on this card is just stupid. And it's like, if you're a wrestling fan, you watch this and you don't like it, you just don't like AEW. It's just plain and simple. You just don't like it. If you can't find enjoyment out of any of these matches, I mean, this is definitely a candidate to steal the show. There's 2 other ones too, I'd say, that are up there, and that what a great problem to have. You're talking about 3 matches at least that could steal the show, probably more than that. I think it'll be a fun match, but no way Okada loses this. I think he's got to hold that title for a while. Big free agent signing, comes right in, wins a new title, but wins the title already. Kingston, one of your more over baby faces. And I love how they've been using heel Okada. It's been different. It's been fun. He and the EVPs and the Elite. I'm loving it. Love it.
Never smiles, just
I love it. The look of disgust that
Always.
he has when he
Oh my
walks out
God.
of that little middle tunnel, and he's just like, and he's just
Mhm.
looking at the crowd like,
It's like, I'm
oh,
here.
just the
Yep.
he's like, I don't even want to be here, dude.
Nope,
I don't
I'm
even
just
wanna, you
getting
could
paid.
just
That's
see
the
it.
only reason I'm
Yeah.
here.
I don't
got a
even want to
paycheck
be
for wrestling,
here.
so I'm gonna do it. Like, you guys are lucky that I'm gracing
Yeah.
you with my presence.
I'm about to put on
Oh.
this banger and dip.
It is so good. Just the look that he has on his face every time. It's like, man, that guy just knows what he's doing.
All I want to say is, Pac, I hope you stay healthy, man. It's
Yes.
so good to have him back. I want to see him have
Yeah.
a solid 2024. I think he puts on a really fun match here. I just want him to have a sustained like run. He always gets cooking and then gets hurt, and then it's like, we have to stop and start. So I'm just hoping he can make it through 2024. And I think it's gonna be a big year for Pac. This just ain't the one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I think this match should be pretty crazy. But yeah, I think Okada, I agree with Tanner. I think Okada's holding that belt for a little bit here, a little bit. But I wouldn't be upset if this could be a good opener for the show. This could be
Mhm.
there's a lot of matches you could have open this show. And I think another one which kind of ties into the elite and things like that is we have ourselves a ladder match to crown the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Those titles were vacated by Sting and Darby Allin. And we've had ourselves a tournament, and we ended up with a classic matchup, the fourth rematch between these two teams. And this was a match that I didn't even mention in the last segment when we were talking about the matches of the night. This could also be easily one of the matches of the night. We've seen what they can do together when they're in the ring. These are, in my opinion, the two best tag teams of the last decade. And they are fighting once again in a ladder match this time. It is the Young Bucks and FTR. I feel like we'll probably talk about this because there are some theories. I have a theory here, but I'm going to let Pluggo go first on this one.
All
I thought the tag team tournament went over very well. I thought it went very well. I loved, the Young Bucks private party rematch they did in the first round and that tie into history. They had the one big upset with the infantry beating House of Black and like the big crazy Cinderella upset and things like that. I thought they played it off pretty well. But for me, once I saw the brackets, I knew this is where we were going. I knew this is what we were getting. And I know it's the fourth time. I don't care. I could watch these teams wrestle a dozen times, and I don't care because it's going to be amazing. However, I do think there's going to be some chicanery of big-time sorts at the end of this one, personally. But Pluggo,
Let's see him.
how do you think this plays out now? No, but I think somebody involved in a situation with CM Punk's going to come back. Or somebody
First
involved.
and foremost,
Yeah.
I was at my first Dynamite on Wednesday, and so was this gentleman named Logan. And I have to say, Logan, buddy, bow to your EVPs, brother. Respect
I have
your
loved
EVPs.
every single thing that the Young Bucks have done in this iteration.
Shout out to Logan, who was fighting me on my love for the
Why was he
EVP.
very anti-EVP? Was he not respecting Nicholas
Yes.
and Matthew?
It was Tanner's partner, his
there we
podcast
go.
partner, Paul's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did not
a Young Bucks
respect
guy?
his
Not a Young Bucks kid?
EVPs. He
Not
did
a Young
not.
Bucks guy.
But I'll say this.
You respect him.
I respect him. Without him, we ain't here. But no, ultimately, I think everybody's glossing over the fact that this match is absolutely just going to rule.
Oh my God,
These
dude.
teams always put on a stunner. I know how we got here. People are crapping all over based on how they tied it in and made it work last week. But it's got to be the Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Like, you started the new elite with Okada. Okada's got his belt. You bring the gold to this new elite. Like you said, JPJ, maybe a certain scapegoat maybe shows up
maybe.
and
Who knows?
takes care of business. But yeah, I ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter how you slice it, I think the Young Bucks get it done here.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Tanner, before you dive into what you think is going to happen, I would like to know your opinion on the footage.
Yep.
And how they used it last week. Definitely tied it into the match. I do think if something happens in this match that a lot of people think might, with Jack Perry maybe showing up and helping the Young Bucks win or something like that, I think that I personally would not have shown the footage.
Right.
But I think we talked about it on Beers last week, and I'm sure you talked about it on the Kicking Out. Like, I don't think the footage only did. I think Jack Perry is the only person that came out of this footage in a good lot. Like, who it helped. Like, I don't think it hurt AEW.
Chris Hero.
Yeah. I don't think it hurt or helped the Bucks. I don't think it hurt or helped AEW, Tony, CM. I don't think it hurt CM Punk. But the one thing that I think it did do is I think it helped Jack Perry. You saw his reaction at Windy City Riot on Friday in Chicago. And I get it. He had the flag. He had the, Crimea River on the just awesome. Amazing. It was amazing. Lean into that shit more. But his reaction, that tells me that what they did, especially if what I think might happen on Sunday happens, I still wouldn't have made the decision, but like that makes it make sense to me. Yeah. So what was your opinion of just the footage in general and how they used it, and like obviously what you think is going to happen in this match?
Yeah, I agree. I think they could have told the story without using the footage and tied it into storyline. I honestly think the only reason they use the footage is because of what Punk said with Hawani on the MMA Hour, and Tony's like, okay, we have to rebuttal somehow. We have to, because they were kind of in a lose-lose.
Yeah.
They show the footage, well, and then that backfired. If they don't show the footage, they're cowards. They're not. They're not addressing the elephant in the room, and I'm ready to just put all that crap behind us and move on. And I think we're going to come out of this match and we're not going to be talking about that footage anymore. But I do think Scapegoat Jack Perry returns. It'll be an interesting reaction because he got a mixed reaction in Chicago. Sold out of his Scapegoat shirts and all his merch.
Yeah, real quick too.
Online. I even saw a few people wearing it last night. But I think he helps the Elite become the first 3-time AEW World Tag Team Champions. And I'm going to throw another bold prediction out here for you guys. After the match, we see a certain tag team debut in AEW setting up for the next challengers.
Motor City
titles.
Could it be the Motor City Machine Guns?
No? My God, that fires me up.
Yeah, and them and the Young Bucks, all that history like that, it would just
would be dope.
I do think there was a good chance we see that happen. We see that happen. We see them walk out, have a stare down, and then it's like, oh shit, we're getting Young Bucks and Motor City Machine Guns.
And just the titles, maybe you could have with the guns in AEW. Oh my gosh, there's so many great ones.
I think Jack Perry is showing up. I think Jack Perry is costing FTR these belts, and I think Jack Perry is joining the Elite, and I think the new Elite is going to be Okada, the Bucks, and Scapegoat Jack Perry, and that is oh my God, dude! I was just going to say that is a group that I can get behind very easily. Yeah, man. I mean, I just think I see that's the way it's going to go. It makes perfect sense. Jack Perry is so hot now that if you're AEW, especially after the Punk interview, and that, like, you got to bring him back. You got to bring him back.
Yep.
Don't wait, because then it might fizzle out.
Exactly. Like, you got to do it now. And the Young Bucks, even before they showed the footage, like some couple times when they've been walking down the ring, Nick has looked at the camera and said, like, Scapegoat, or he said, like, what they're going to use Scapegoat over, like they've made references to.
We love your work.
Yeah, we love your work, Scapegoat, or whatever. Scapegoat, we love your work, whatever. Like, they've been doing things like that.
Yep,
it makes sense. And side note, I thought them stopping the FTR vignette last night was brilliant.
Awesome.
Yep.
I thought that was brilliant stuff. This is my favorite iteration of the Young Bucks, maybe ever, but easily since they've joined AEW. Like, this is just like they have not missed a beat.
Our EVPs.
I would have been in your friend's son's space doing that. I would have been with like, no, you don't disrespect the EVPs.
Yeah,
we wouldn't be sitting in these seats, bro, if it weren't for them.
Yeah, bro.
It's true. It's true.
But,
I love how
you gotta teach them young kids, man. We gotta teach them. We gotta let them know.
They got lean into it. It's perfect.
To get some nuclear heat. And maybe, eventually, because that's one thing I noticed last night, Okada's still getting cheered big time by the crowd,
he
even though he's heel. So maybe this is a way get this faction formed, get some more heat on him to where he gets some heel reactions.
We're just so psyched to see Okada.
I know.
On a regular basis. That's what it is.
Still amazing.
And I think that's what it is, and I think it's going to be like that everywhere they go. When he came out in Boston, they had a match when he came out in Boston, he had just turned heel at that point a few weeks prior, but everybody was like, holy shit, this is Okada.
Okada.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing Okada. So
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of like when a big return and it is a big signing, but like no matter how you portray it, like Mercedes is a better heel 10 times than she is a babyface.
Oh yeah.
But Mercedes ain't getting booed when she's
Oh, she got
showing up
big
in the
pop last night. My God.
yeah, like when she's showing up in her first round of all these cities under the AEW umbrella, like she ain't getting booed in Boston where I am, no matter what. But she ain't getting booed anywhere. So let it play out, do your thing, and then when you know the time is right, you got a top heel in your, you know what I mean? So I wasn't expecting the Okada heel turn at all. That swerved me big time. But like you said earlier, I think they've knocked it out of the park. I think he's been perfect. It's been perfect. But yeah. All right. We then have an AEW Women's World Championship match. It is Toni Storm defending against Thunder Rosa, who never lost that belt. Never lost it.
Right.
I like how they're leaning into that. They absolutely should. She's going to lose on Sunday, though, I think.
Yeah.
But there's some layers here, man. Because you have Mariah May and that, and now you got the Dion. Her and Thunder Rosa were physical with each other last night, even though Thunder Rosa came out to help Deanna.
Yep.
But Deanna came out to help Thunder Rosa before, and Thunder Rosa was like, I don't need your help. And now Deanna's like, well, I don't need your help. Well, there's two of them over there, guys. There's Toni Storm and Mariah. There's two of them. And I know you guys are independent, strong women, but like there's two of them. And Tony's keeping that belt because there's two of them, and she helps. So like, if you really want to get the belt off Tony, maybe you guys should be a little bit more friendly than where you are. But I think we're on line for a big time, just one-on-one grudge match at Double or Nothing between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, which I'm all for because again, I like having two women's matches instead of the one that we got for so long. But I would like some non-title feuds to matter in AEW on the women's side of things. And I think if you can have a third or fourth women's match at Double or Nothing, and it's Thunder Rosa on a street fight or whatever, lights out, whatever you want to do with Deonna Purrazzo, and then you have Mercedes and whoever, and Tony and whoever, beauty. And I think that's the way this is going to go. I don't know if Tanner, do you think Deonna gets involved in this match on Sunday? Do you think they go that route, or is it something that comes up on the way to Double or Nothing? Because I think that's where we're going here.
I think she does get involved. Okay. I do. Okay. I think they've had those two go back and forth so much, it would almost be surprising if they didn't. But I totally agree with you what you said about multiple women's matches, especially when Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker come back. And two more women to that division, two more women who can compete for the world title. And Jamie Hayter never lost the title. Oh, yes, she did. Yes, she did lose the title. Excuse me.
Yeah,
but wasn't going to unless she got.
It hurt. Wasn't a regular. Yeah, she wasn't fully.
This women's division, it's on the verge of really cooking. I think once everybody gets healthy, and this is gonna be a fun match. But I agree with you. In the day, I think Tony goes over Thunder, but Thunder's not gonna look weak by any means.
No, I agree. Pluggo, what are you thinking about when it comes to the AEW women's title picture?
I don't disagree with anything you guys said there, but I also now kind of sit here going like, with Tony, what's next? She beats Thunder. Who's next? She's had it for a while, and there's also this little part of me that's like Toni Storm chasing this iteration of Toni Storm chasing that belt could get really, really fun. And you know me, I'm a Thunder Rosa stan. I love me some Thunder Rosa. Shout out to my girl. But man, this is tough. This is one of those low confidence points for me because I like Thunder Rosa a lot. I think she could do a lot of good with the belt. Yeah. Tony's had it for a hot minute, but I think Tony ultimately retains. But what do you do with Tony at Double or Nothing?
So, yeah, that's my. I don't know what they do at Double or Nothing. I think the long-term play here, though, is Mariah May versus Tony. I think that's where we go. Not saying that Mariah will be the one that takes it off of Tony.
Yeah,
I think we get there. I don't think we should get there between Dynasty and Double or Nothing. That's way too soon and too quick.
They've kind of changed. They've changed the game with all these new pay-per-views. Now it used to be like, oh, we've got a few months.
We got 3 months. Yeah. Now it's
like, nope. We got to figure out what you're going to do in a month here.
6 week cycle here.
I think ultimately Tony keeps it somehow, some way, but I wouldn't be shocked if Thunder Rosa left Dynasty as your new women's champion.
Okay. It's fair.
Deanna maybe ggets involved. Yeah, I think there's something's going to happen here. Maybe Deanna and Tony become friends again. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe.
Man.
There's a lot of ways they can go. I do think that Tony will retain. But that's a good question, Pluggo, because I don't know if Tony does retain.
Who's ready after Thunder?
They do go. I mean, well, you could always bring Britt Baker. I feel like Britt Baker is healthy. Just bring her back. I thought Britt Baker should have been Mercedes'
should be
first.
back. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I was listening to SRS earlier this week, and he was asked about her, and he said everything I know is that she just wants to be used, and they just got nothing for her. And I'm like, how do you get?
Remember when they did that? Remember when they did that AEW
the only one you were using for a year and a half?
That backstage show when she was shitting all over Thunder Rosa for not being is she really hurt?
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on, Britt?
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought Britt Baker would have been a perfect opponent for Mercedes, but now I like what they're doing now, especially now that Mercedes kind of told us in that promo last night that
it would be dope if
when I'm, the line that Mercedes said, when I'm fully healthy at Double or Nothing, that answered every question that I had, because we had been talking for weeks about it. Like, why are we waiting 2 months to see the person who excels in the ring go in the ring? But now it's pretty clear that she's probably not fully healthy and won't be until Double, which is, again, health is most important. But I would love Thunder Rosa to win, and she did never lose that belt, so like that would make perfect sense to me. And you could do the Tony Storm stuff without it, I guess. I don't know. I just don't see it right now. I just think Tony is so good and just like hot at what she like. The crowd loves it. They love it. She's a heel, and everybody loves it. And it's just I don't see them taking it off her right now.
And shout out to Luther. I mean, he has just accepted this role, and it's perfect.
He took that shot that Thunder Rosa gave him last night. That was on TV, at least. It was like, man,
he got live. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. Boy, oh boy. All right. A dream match we've talked about 2 or 3 different matches in this hour where we've said this could, without question, be the match of the night. Well, this whole pay-per-view, the first match was booked around this being the best match maybe of all time. And like a dream match. It is Bryan Danielson going one-on-one with Will Ospreay. I knew how good Will Ospreay was before he got to AEW. Since he's been in AEW, he has exceeded my expectations in all aspects. All aspects, specifically on the mic. I did not know he was as good a promo as he is, especially as good a babyface promo as he is. I knew he was kind of like he could be prickish and be a good heel. I did not know he could be the first couple promos when he was just cutting like white meat babyface promos. I was like, this guy should be the star of the company. Like that's how I was like, this guy is unbelievable. He has exceeded all my expectations. This match is crazy. I don't want to see Bryan Danielson lose another big match. But Bryan Danielson is probably going to lose another big match because I don't see how you can have Ospreay lose this. I mean, I guess it's Danielson. I guess anybody could lose to Bryan Danielson. He's the GOAT, or to many. But dude, give these guys a fucking hour. Let them go. I don't give a shit. Give them an hour. Let it go to a draw. I don't even care. I know Danielson's done that business before. I don't care. Let these guys go as long as they want to go. This match is going to be wildly good. Pluggo, I'm going to let you lead this one, babe. How are you feeling? Dream match.
Good, dude. It's going to be good. It's going to rule. I don't know what else to say. There's been build, but there's not been like a ton of like Danielson Ospreay interaction with this thing, but you don't need it. I just, like you said, give them an hour, let them go crazy. I'm just, listen, you know who wins? The fans. This is going to rule. That's all I got to say. I don't have to say anything else. You already know what you're getting.
Yeah, I want to, before I hand over, I think this is one of those matches you just see on paper and you're like, do we really have to give our analysis of this?
No.
Like, this is just, like, obviously, I'm going to tell you what I think's going to happen, but like,
hey, IWC fans, the ones that say just shut up and enjoy wrestling, here it is.
Yeah.
You ain't got to say nothing. Just shut up and watch this thing.
It's Tanner, I mean, bro.
Yeah, usually matches like this scare me because fans put expectations so high it's almost unachievable. But these two are going to do it. These two are going to do it. There's not too many wrestlers better in ring than these two guys in the world, if any. They might be the best two. And last night, I mean, I knew Ospreay was over, and he's becoming the future face of AEW. Buddy confirmed it for me last night, being there live, and Pluggo can contest to this. There was a little
I was gonna bring that up
in the front row that was trying to get autographs all night during the show. Ospreay sees the kid. He's got the brand new Ospreay shirt they just started selling at the store. Ospreay goes over before he gets in the ring. I don't know if they showed it on TV, but he signed the shirt, gets in the ring. Then they cut the commercial break. Ospreay remembers that kid's over there. He slides out, goes, grabs his jacket or his coat that he wore for his entrance, went, put it over the kid to get a picture with the kid.
Nice.
I'm like, the crowd loved it. The crowd starts cheering even more. I'm like, there's your future face of the company.
That kid, though, fun fact, that kid during the pre-tapes was trying to get an AEW figure signed, hands it out, and I think Go-Go or somebody smacked it out of his hand. His kids start flipping him off. So all night the kid's trying, and the crowd is just like, sign that kid's thing. And like he kept getting snubbed by wrestler after wrestler after wrestler. Then Ospreay's like, nope, I got you.
Yep.
That's
so,
awesome.
and he had the biggest chance of the night. I think as far as people buying merch at the event, that Ospreay probably sold the most merch, I would say, last night. Dude, so good. So smooth, good on the mic. And I like how he's still part of the Callis family, but you can tell he doesn't really want to be. He doesn't agree with what they were doing with the BCC.
Do we think... Do we think there's a scenario where, because last night, obviously, great main event between him and Claudio, as you would expect. And then we had that stuff with the Callis family and Moxley at the end of the show. And Ospreay was visibly and verbally pissed off that the Callis family attacked. And, do we think there's a scenario where Danielson does win this match because of Don Callis or something like that? Or do you think that they just let this match be?
They better just
let this match be.
Oh, right? I'll be pissed if there's any interference in this match, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, like, for my brain, I'm like, hey, I know Danielson said that this year is going to be better than ever. Did he mean that he was, I'm going to wrestle everybody, but I'm going to lose to everybody?
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe hopefully they'll cut some promo, like a pre-tape on maybe Collision or something as this records. That's like, I don't want the interference. I just want Danielson one-on-one, or Danielson going, I don't want Blackpool Combat Club being involved. I want you one-on-one. Yeah, because I think it would be silly, because you have a match of this caliber, to overbook it. Like, just let it go.
And I don't think you should. You should just let them go. See who the best wrestler is, and
that's what we all want. I think anything less, we would be pissed.
Yeah. And AEW, on Saturday, this is probably airing on Saturday. So if you're watching this, like tonight, we have a massive block of Collision and Rampage together, and they're having all these guys wrestle tonight. They're all in there's a bunkhouse match, and there's another trio. Like, all these guys that are in big match, and girls that are in big matches in Dynasty, they're all wrestling the night before. Not that I'm against that, but that is, like, they're going all out. They're going all out for the Saturday night and the Sunday night. And it's like, okay, all right, cool.
Big weekend.
So I think you can.
RVD's wrestling tonight because it's 420.
What do you call it? They're my thing is, like, they can do the Don Callis Ospreay stuff maybe during that block of Collision because they're clearly gonna. Ospreay is not long for the Callis family at all. And that's obviously going to be the thing. Now, in general, before we move to the main event, whenever Ospreay does break away, and I thought it was specific, I don't know if you guys could actually see it well in the arena. Ospreay was pissed at everybody about what was going on, but he specifically went to Kyle Fletcher and he said, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? And they mentioned it on commentary too. They were like, hey, they've been friends for a long, long time. Ospreay looked at Kyle Fletcher and said, what the heck are you doing, man? There's a story there. And there's a story of Ospreay leaving the Callis family and trying to bring Kyle with him. And Or Kyle Fletcher, you know, you want to talk about somebody who like made the best out of a bad situation. Once his partner got hurt, Kyle Fletcher has made it clear to everybody, hey, I'm a future top level of this company star as well. He's the what, like 25? He's
Looks like $1 million
super
bucks.
young.
He's very
super
young.
young, fills the part. That match that he had at the Ring of Honor show was maybe the best match of the night at the Super Card of Honor last week. There's a lot of story you can tell with Ospreay and the Callis family. I don't want Ospreay to be involved with the Callis family. Like, I don't want it to turn into a claimed Bullet Club goal. We're going to ride this out for 6 months. Like, do the break, do it, make it happen. Ospreay needs to be doing other stuff. But I do
you
think
start it next week in Jacksonville. You got Moxley against Hobbs. Start it there somehow.
Start it there. Yeah, figure it out. But because you noticed when Moxley got in, Ospreay wasn't involved. Ospreay immediately got out of the ring.
Because there's history there too.
Yeah, he didn't stop them from like attacking Claudio, but he immediately got out of the ring. When Moxley got in there and was fighting them all off, Ospreay was like, I'm not fucking going in there. I'm not going in there. Nope. Not doing. I thought maybe we'd see a Moxley Ospreay face to face to get
I did too.
You guys like going like, oh,
I did too.
You know, like whatever, but we didn't, which is good. You can that can happen
down
later.
the line. Yep.
That can happen later. But yeah, I think there's a lot of meat on the bone for what you can do with Ospreay here, because he is that boy. That guy needs to be at the top of the company soon.
Yeah. He's a generational talent. It's
unbelievable.
And you know, I came away last night thinking Ospreay's the future face. Last night confirmed to me, John Moxley's still right now the face that runs the place. With the reaction he got last night, that promo he cut, that's what AEW needed. He got the crowd chant AEW. They needed that after last week. And he did it.
And I think he's the guy that we all look at. Showed up at the first Double or Nothing. He was the big signing, like, oh shit, they got Ambrose, they got this guy. Holy crap. You know, he's always been that guy. And this is not the first type of, you know, rah promo Moxley has done, but Moxley does it in a way where it feels real. It doesn't feel like it was like Tony going, hey, go out there and say this. Moxley's like, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to tell people how I feel. And it comes across that way. And I think he just has a certain energy about him.
He's
that
a different cat, man.
Yeah. He just has an energy that is just unmatched in all of pro wrestling.
Because I think everybody goes, yeah, Mox will be back in WWE at some point. I don't think, I think he loves this shit. I think he loves what he's doing. I think he loves the idea of being able to do what he wants. Because if you read his book or listened to him in interviews, you know, it was a very constricting for his creative mind. He even said, not everybody, it worked for some. He's got friends in the company, but like he loves being able to like be this face of this company, be the IWGP World Championship, go do a death match if he wants to, go do, like he loves having that freedom, and he's just a different cat. And it's what AEW needs. Like it's a perfect, if you want to talk alternatives, he's the perfect alternative face to that product. And that's the guy, like when he talks, we all shut up and listen, and we're like, this guy gets it. Copeland, when he cut that promo, a similar promo, maybe it felt a little forced because that's just not Copeland's style. But with Mox, it was like, damn, like, yep, I believe this dude. So it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well done.
It was really good. Speaking of good stuff, we are at our main event. We are at our AEW World Championship match. Good piece of business these two guys did last night. You guys were lucky enough to see live. It is Samoa Joe, the AEW World Champion. He, in my opinion, been a great AEW World Champion. This title reign for him has revitalized that title. I think it's revitalized him. He has been excellent. And he is defending against Swerve Strickland. I mean, listen, I love Samoa Joe. And if he was going against almost anybody else, I would be pulling for Samoa Joe. It is Swerve's time. Swerve's time. It was this. You could make an argument. It was his time last month, but I thought the triple threat was a perfect way to get to this point that we are at right now. That moment when he jumped off the corner last night onto all the security guards, and then he stood face to face with Samoa Joe, I was losing my shit, and I wasn't even. You guys were in the friggin' building, I was losing my shit. And then the brawl that happened, Samoa Joe standing tall, kind of. To me, You know, it's one of the old tropes in wrestling. Whoever stands tall on the
Go
go
home
home
math.
show, yeah, probably ain't winning at the show at the pay per view. To me, you can't. You got to strike. You got to strike now. It's Swerve. You have to. You can't wait anymore. It's his time. It's been his time for a while. He's the dude. He is just, you talk about how Moxley brings a different energy. Swerve brings a one and only energy that Swerve can bring. And the crowd has gotten behind him since the moment they kind of started this trajectory. Even when he was the dastardly heel, the crowd was like, this guy fucking rules.
Mhm.
And he does. And he just brings a different energy, but also as your champion, he brings a different market. He can bring that belt to hip hop era, like award shows, concerts, event. He just brings in a different part of, like, he can bring in new fans to wrestling.
New demographic.
Yes, that was the word I was looking for. A new demographic that might like wrestling, but they might not watch it every week. And then they see this guy and they go, who the fuck? This guy's a rapper. He's dope as
Right.
shit. He's cool. He's got a great entrance music. He's got this guy dancing with them. It's like a party when he comes down the ring. Like, and he's like in the ring, one of the best in-ring guys too. Like this match, we're not talking about at the levels of Ospreay and Danielson or Roderick or Kyle, but this match is gonna fucking rule. Guys, this match is gonna rule. Tanner, I'll let you lead on the last one of the night, but like it's Swerve's time, right? Like this is it.
100%. And kudos Samoa Joe. When he took the title off MJF, it was the right call at the time. And I knew it was the right call, but I wasn't real excited about what I thought Joe could do with the title. And he's been like, Tanner, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. I've watched this run. I'm going to go on. And he's been awesome. He's been a perfect bridge from a pillar who held it for a year to a future face of the company and Swerve, and the growth and development of Swerve's character since he got in AEW 2 years ago at Revolution has been unbelievable. I wasn't too familiar with this stuff from NXT, but right away I could tell in AEW something's different about this guy. There's something there. And I was clamoring by the end of that year. I'm like, he's a future AEW world champ. And my co-hosts Austin Shepard and Paul Zarman, they kind of we don't really see. I'm like, just watch. And now they're like, okay, I see what you were talking about. Right? Yeah, he's awesome on the mic, great in the ring, got that charisma, that cool factor. Like you said, JPJ, he can bring in a different demographic. He'd be the first African American world champion AEW's ever had. That's a big deal in any promotion. I can't wait. It's got to be his moment, and the run he's going to have as a champ. So many dream matches he can have defending that championship. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Pluggo.
What all you guys said there? Jeez, God, that's good. How am I going to follow that by just going, I just want to do this?
Yeah.
As he wins. No, it's Joe's awesome. This is not one of those scenarios where I'm like, take it off of Joe because he sucks.
No.
Like, he's so good, and this has been a really fun run. But it's just the metamorphosis or the whatever pun you want to use for Swerve's rise has been huge. I think you gotta pull the trigger, give it a chance, pull the trigger. Swerve is a different cat right now. He's on a different level, and if give it a shot, if it works, great. If he takes that title to new heights, fantastic. You got plenty of guys that if you decide, this isn't working, we can go a different direction. Not to say that it wouldn't work. I'm a huge Swerve fan, but I'm just saying, like, this would be the opportunity right here. Take a shot, put it on. Don't play it safe. Give it to Swerve, because there's still a section of the wrestling community that's like, I don't know if Swerve's really the vibe to carry the company, but I'm not in that group. But I say do it. I say let's go. Give us what we want. Nana Swerve celebrating at the end of Dynasty. He's holding up the belt, and then we just take off with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way you're going. Tanner, you leaned in on it when you think about the matches and the feuds that Swerve can have as champion. I think there's still unfinished business with Hangman. Hangman comes back. You have that last blow. I mean, to me, Hangman and Swerve, I think, have put themselves in a stratosphere where these guys should be intertwined for the rest of their AEW careers.
I agree.
Like that's just where they are, right? And I think Hangman drinking Swerve's blood signified that. Like, there's always going to be a piece of you with me. And Swerve, when he was talking to Hangman's kid, there's always going to be a piece of me in your dad, you know, like, and I think that they did that for a reason, because I do feel like, you know, Hangman comes back after his long layoff, Swerve's champion. Okay. To me, that should be double or nothing. If you want to be real, give him one last stipulate. They already did the Texas Death. Even if it's a one-on-one just wrestling match again, fine. But like exploding barbed wire, you want to do that? You want to do something wild, like have it work? I'm going to give that credit to Mike from Indeed, our Love Wrestling friend. He threw that in my ear a couple months ago, and I was like, he goes, I want Hangman and Swerve to be like, I want them to do the exploding barbed wire match, and I want them to do it proper. And what other
most
I was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm with you 1,000%. So I'll give Mike the shout out. That was his idea. But like, whatever you want to do, I think that's the double or not. Swerve's first title defense against Hangman makes sense. And I think you can go that way. And then like, even if you're talking further down, dude, All In against Ospreay in England, bro. Like
Against
there's
Danielson
things you can do. Danielson
Swerve and
in
Ospreay
there.
would rule.
Ospreay for the title. We even maybe like Swerve's a bad guy again by that point, because Ospreay's going to get the hometown, whatever. Like, dude, there's so much stuff.
Swerve
and not saying
Moxley.
Joe, not saying Joe couldn't have these great feuds either, because Joe is amazing. But like, man, Swerve is just too cool, man. You just got to give him the belt and let him run with it for the summer. Let him have the summer of Swerve, and that's what we're doing. There's just so many cool things that he can do with that belt.
Tony Khan's pretty good at striking the iron when it's hot. And this is one of those scenarios you got to do. If you didn't do it now, then you blew it, and might as well not do it because
there's such thing of waiting too long. Like
Sure.
if you just and you don't want to. And Joe, I don't think anybody ever envisioned Joe, as much as we love him, as like a 365-day year-round. Like I don't think we see that for Joe.
I think Joe has done exactly what he's needed to do with that belt. They were like, hey, we're getting it off this super hot pillar guy that has been the biggest guy in the company for the last couple years. He's got to go away for a little bit. We need you to just solidify.
Which, by the way, we're
not even talking about MJF. Like if MJF comes back, he's going to want
this
MJF
pay-per-view is named after his former faction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, maybe that's the double. Who knows? I don't know where MJF is on the health scale. I'm not going to pretend, but maybe Swerve wins and we see an MJF return and he's standing at the entryway, and it's like, oh, that's double or nothing. Is MJF and Swerve or what?
As well as we don't have a media scrum that takes away from that like it did last time.
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah, that would be nice. But nonetheless, Dynasty is really
it'll be awesome.
Really shaping up to be an all-timer for AEW, and I think they need it. I think they need that type of show.
Goodwill.
I think they've been building here for a little bit. Couple, like Tanner said at the beginning, couple bumps in the road, but they've really been building since the new year of like getting back to what AEW was and getting back to what AEW stands for. And I think they knock it out. It feels like they're going to knock it out of the park on Sunday for Dynasty, and then hopefully they can just continue to ride, because it is shaping up to be the best wrestling show of the year so far, easily. And we just had a really, really successful WrestleMania week and all sorts of things. But this card is shaping up that this is going to blow everybody away. It should be a really good time. Tanner, thanks for joining us
thanks, guys.
on this preview pick show. Let the people know where they can find the Kicking Out Pod, where they can find you. Just let them know. Plug your stuff, man.
You can find the Kicking Out Podcast on all your podcast platforms. You know, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, even though I think Google's going away soon. All the TuneIn, iHeart, all those. So subscribe, follow on there. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Kicking Out Pod is our handle. If you want to follow me, it's Tanner Lee 92 on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We go live every Sunday night, 8:30, reviewing the week in AEW. We also dabble into some WWE, especially Cody Rhodes talk. We're all three Cody Rhodes fans, so we talk Cody Rhodes, and we'll go down rabbit holes, talk about other things too as well. So yeah, give us a like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff.
Now that you mentioned it, Pluggo, before I go to you, I know we had you on a little while ago on beards.
Yes.
And you're a big Cody mark like me.
Yes, sir.
So I assume you were happy with the end of WrestleMania then.
I was relieved and happy
Okay.
because if they
Just wanted
didn't
a
do it,
quick little
I was
opinion.
done. I was done watching WWE if they didn't pull the trigger on it.
I had told Pluggo. I said, hey, I go, if they don't pull the trigger here and Roman wins, I don't dislike Roman. But if
No,
they
me
don't,
neither. Me neither.
if they don't pull the trigger and give this to Cody, I'm not watching WWE for at least the rest of this year. I'm not doing it.
Yep.
I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. But luckily, but I remembered you saying that,
Oh,
that you're
yeah.
a big Cody guy too. So I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I need to know how happy.
Oh yeah, I
he
was
is.
excited.
Cody
And
won, thank God.
it's gonna be a fun reign. It's gonna be different seeing him be the defending the title instead of being the chaser. But
Yeah.
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I think it's gonna be good. All right, Pluggo, do our thing. Let people know where they can find you, where they can find us, and then we will get out of here.
Well, you can find me, Pluggo, on all social medias. Just search Pluggo. I'm right there on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm forgetting one, probably Twitter. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And then our show every Thursday night, 8 p.m., right here on Love Wrestling on this very channel, Between Two Beards. You can find all show updates at B2 Beards across all social medias. You can find me Saturday morning. So if you were on this channel earlier this morning, I'm with Blair Pacheco of the Grainmaker Pod talking independent wrestling for exposure. And that's where you can find us. So stay tuned to all of our socials for updates.
Absolutely. You can find me on JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms and over on the Twitch, playing a whole lot of baseball, a whole lot of MLB The Show these days. But yeah, give us all the love. Oh, no, don't do that to me, bro.
Hey.
You want to do? I like you, man. I like you.
That's why I didn't put it on. Shut
up. What are you doing?
Everything I
start the show over.
No. But no. Yeah, you can give me a holler on there, like Pluggo said, every Thursday night Between Two Beards, Sunday morning. So by the time you guys see this tomorrow morning, I'm doing Firmly AEW. We do it every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. with Drew. So we'll be diving even more deeper into the AEW Dynasty card. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's where you can find all of us. Give us some love. Tanner, thank you again for joining us. Anytime.
Thanks, guys.
You are
Very
welcome.
fun.
It's always a blast chatting with you. And for Pluggo, Tanner, and myself, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Nice yawn to end that one, bro.
I know, right? Whoops.